priorities and actually giving some type of leveling of how they want to approach that, so that we can go forward and say, in our 5-year plan, these are the streets we plan on doing. Personnel, of course, is something that's a project that we talk about. Policy and procedures, parks and city properties. Your Parks Commission has not been very active since they lost their 503C. I think they're about ready to get active again, so we're hoping that they can take on some of our park projects. We have been approached by the Historical Society to take on some of their historical cemeteries, which, as you know, would have a cost in order to do that. Question and answer session. As I said, I owe you that organizational chart, but we want to work with that. And thank you so much for being patient and even with my electronics here. We were able to get through. Thank you.
I just make the comment that you see in, although the calendar says 28 days, as I look at the actual work days, I think I counted 14, just making your 14th work day in the city of Floresville. I think we've gotten a good overview of many of the things that we need to do. I appreciate the time you took to put this report together.
I want to thank everybody for taking the time to help me with my learning curve, because as you know, not only not being in the force, but being in Texas is a curve I have to go over. Staff has been very helpful to help me get past the learning curve and to know everything is and these meetings on time, but also the councilman giving me direction about what's important and the history of the downtown area, history of utility company, history of streets. And the mayor has let me build your ear many times. It started, let me ask you 2 questions, Mayor, which is 17. And Mr. Miller has been helpful in reference to that. So we're hoping that we can get a direction on how these projects go, what are your priorities, and then of course, you'll have the answers from the survey of what you want to do going forward and how you want to address with the citizens things like that as well. I think I'm on the floor.
My only concern is, and I don't know if it's in order or not, but my concern is that you said you met with the majority of the employees, and I get feedback that it's not, I mean, I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but I would say that if I were to come in here, the first thing is that I want to meet my bosses and my employees. And I know you said, well, I've met with the police department, I've been real busy and I've been trying, but I think the more important is to meet who you work with. And my question to you is, do you have a plan to meet these people or maybe get together? I know at one time, I think they were having meetings on Mondays for the employees. I think that stopped for a while there. I don't know if it's back on.
No, if we haven't had a chance to meet on Mondays, I know we have department meetings in reference to that. We do plan on trying to meet on Mondays in reference to that.
But I think that is very important when we shut down something that we were doing about with the employees and the feedback and that, and to cut it out. I mean, I don't know who, I know you're trying, but I mean, it takes 10, 15 minutes, 45 minutes the most, just to, you know, what are we doing? To just cut it off. I mean, who put that on the shutdown, or?
I didn't schedule any meetings, so.
Why are we not having meetings?
They weren't meeting before I came, so.
Well, they were meeting every Monday supposedly. Every Monday? And ever since you gotten here, they haven't had any meetings, so I don't know if it's you that's not doing them, or?
We'll schedule those meetings. We'll see what day is best for those meetings to happen, because I have some other meetings I have to attend. But we'll start having the developmental meetings, but I have met with the staff in the field, Water, and Park Department, of course, I met with the administration. I haven't met all the police officers, so I've been spending some time with the police in reference to, and the chief, in reference to the issue that they're having with the police department. But clearly, we'll start having those weekly meetings so that we can be able to do that and meet staff.
I mean, you know, when we meet, and I don't mind it, and it doesn't matter, you know, one of the councilmen is a big access to you, but at the same time, I think you have 55 other ones that can really benefit from those 55 employees. They can give you a hand if you just kind of reach out to them.
Well, I have met them. Hector himself, who drives the big equipment, one of the things we met with Republic is that he came in with me because we were talking about that contract, and Laura's been working with him with some different options, and I know it's gonna come back before you. One of the things we had to do was that when I met with him at the TML, he said that we're losing about $2,000 a month because we're not collecting all of our franchise fees. Because we allow other people in our community to put up, I think it's Waste Management, is one company, Tiger is another garbage company, that actually has receptacles here in town. So the guys are all ready. We're going to be notifying everybody officially that if you have your things in town, we're going to tell them and actually issue them some tickets, and I'll work with Monica in reference to that, because that's costing us money. We did notify them and say, if you have anything in town, you can do that, and we're gonna start collecting that. So I met with them, I met with Alex. Alex is going to go to a conference, in reference to the training that we won a scholarship for, from Sarah, San Antonio River Authority. So there's a lot of things going on in reference to that, and I perceive that very quickly, we're gonna be starting having those weekly meetings, and I'm sure staff's gonna really enjoy them.
And that's my only concern, that for some reason you're like, to me, it seems like that you're just in one, like one eggshell or something. I don't know what the deal is, because even with me, we've had 5-minute discussion, yeah, we talked today, but prior to that, in a month that you've been here, you know, you've talked to me 5 minutes. Now, I don't know how it is with the other councilmen, I don't know with one of them how it is, but the rest, I don't know if you have, if they say, well, let's talk, or, I mean,
I'll make sure that we meet, because we're meeting together again.
oh yeah, but we'll be in tomorrow for our meeting, but,
And I hear you, Councilman.
and to me, it's very important. I mean, I'm not trying to
No,
get on your case, I'm just saying, I think that is the first thing. If I have an army here of my supporters or whatever, it's for them. And to me, you still have not, if you might say you made a few, to you a few is 15, 20, there's 55 out there, or 60, I don't know how many. And since one councilman, you know, is always giving you the advice, I think that he should be giving you advice maybe to meet everybody or kind of get to know each other. And, you know, and to bring it back again on that, for you to say that one councilman, like you said at the 4A meeting, I was very upset about that. You know, when you say, I have one councilman that talks to me a whole lot, and one councilman that doesn't give me a time of day, Mario Morones. That's, I don't think that should have never been said. You know, and I cry about everything, but I think we're here to serve the people, we're here to help each other. I'm here to help you too. I'm here to help you whatever we can do. But to me, my main concern is the employees that you get to know.
I have a question. Did I hear you say that we're gonna pick up those trash containers? Is that legal for us to do that?
yes,
You can take somebody else's property.
yes, we're legal in town, we're assuming we can.
Is that an ordinance or something? I mean,
No, it's a franchise agreement that we have.
In our franchise agreement, part of the contract is that in the city limits within the cities here, no other garbage company can operate but the public.
Correct. And have we used our code compliance department to talk to those developers or whoever is
Yes, ma'am.
having?
Monica contacts each one of them, has sent them a letter. It started with Cindy, but I signed that to Monica. She's contacted all of them by phone. She sent them all by email. I think 2 of them were picked up, and the guys are actually giving us addresses as they're going out, to give me addresses as to where we're gonna go and relocate them. And then it says in the ordinance you have to have reasonable amount of time, so we contacted them last Thursday, more than enough reasonable amount of time, can you pick up their things? And then it can be anywhere from $20 to $500, and so depending on how many they have, we're going to assess them. They know, in other companies, they know when they have
They go for the
franchise,
cheaper price.
but Waste Management knows that Republic is here.
So what happens when, I mean, I understand that the thing says that we shouldn't have any other, but I don't know that the citizens or the residents know that they have that in place until you take them to ordinance. But say I'm a contractor and I got a contract with Tiger, and everywhere I go to my contract to Seguin, to Pleasant, to wherever, and Tiger brings me a thing, and then all of a sudden you just pick it up. I just don't want, and there's an ordinance, fine, but I just don't want that later on somebody gets shot or somebody, because we're going to go pick up my trash can, and you send them out there to,
Well, that's what we call, not the business owner, because sometimes you're right, the contractor may not know, but Tiger knows about franchise agreement, that's why we call them. Even sent one person, we emailed them the copy of the franchise agreement, because once you have an agreement, the company, the garbage records company, know they're not supposed to deliver in this person's zone. Just like when we do a sales marketing thing, that's your territory, this is my territory. I'm not supposed to sell in your territory. They're not supposed to be selling in that territory. That's why everybody has franchise
You would think
agreements.
they would assume to call the city and say, hey, do you have a contract with anybody before they go out and do
Well, when
this?
they get their permit, that's where they're told.
They're told, but what we have to do
Follow up.
is to not give them a permit until they have signed up with the public. When I got my apartment, they wouldn't allow me to rent until I proved that I had renter's insurance, or proved that I had paid my deposit for the electric company. The same thing with the permitting process, that before I issue you a permit to do that, you have to prove that you have signed up with the public so that we can get our portion of the franchise fee. $2,000 a month is not what we want to spill on the floor. If we can just simply say, you can't do this in town. Waste Management is a very big company. They know they can't go in other towns. And the Republic knows when the Republic lives in their zone, they call them and say, you're in our territory, come pick up your waste.
And that goes for any type of construction dumpster, any type of dumpster.
Anytime. It is, we have, according to what you all passed, it is exclusive contract.
That's why we're having to address the issue with the school, who's wanting to opt out of the franchise agreement and use their vendor. It's our agreement with them, just as in the same way Verizon has the franchise for telephone service, even though it's AT&T lines running right through Wilson County, Verizon is the only one that can provide the service in Wilson County. Yeah, landline. And electricity, only Phelps because of that, even though the power lines are shared and come all the way from CPS. Okay, we could potentially buy power directly from CPS, but because of the franchise agreement the city has with Phelps, which pays money to the city in the same way our gas franchise, our electric franchise, our waste franchise, and telephone franchises provide revenue to the city. And as the city manager said, this is money that we're giving away if we're not enforcing our franchise agreement.
One of the things I spent some time with Lorna about is the franchise agreement, is also the contract. She had several different scenarios. How many was it, 3 or 4?
No, that's two separate issues.
No, I'm just saying, how many in reference to saving money? The agreement itself, the change that you want to make in reference to the contract.
The contract wasn't saving us any money, those pieces, the
It's
scenarios are related to our ordinance on our fee side.
on our fee side, and so we're losing money on our fee side in reference to the contract as well. And so as we're trying to clean up some things, we need to make sure that we're collecting all the complex franchise fees there, so that at the end of the day, the reason why people do exclusive contracts is so that you can make money. It should be a moneymaker for you. And so what we want to do is address those fee schedules, which we'll be meeting with him next week on, address that fee schedule, but also collect all of our franchise fees. That's due us. Because somebody else in another town is collecting your franchise fee on their waste management. They're not getting it. So we're gonna try to start cleaning up and toning
It
that
would be
up.
interesting to find out, because we have one here and have a list already of the violators, how much money we have lost for each one since they started their project.
What if the contractor has their own roadways, their own private, it's the same thing,
They have their own.
and they still have to pay their franchise? It's curious.
And it should be, and you're right, Mayor, they do mention it to them, but they don't follow up enforcement. The mere fact that they shouldn't even, you see that, you know, if they see the truck trying to deliver, and you say, you can't deliver, only be public here. You are exclusive for a color, and I believe the contract is about 3 years long, so we have to get it ready to do.
The public has never made an issue about it.
Yes, they mentioned it to me. I don't know if they
Cindy,
mentioned it.
about 2 months ago, Cindy did contact, there were about 6 or 7, I believe, companies. And said, we need to remove it. I think 2 maybe did, and then the others were almost done, and they were like, too bad, we don't care, because that's what they did.
Think about,
So
even if
it's
to give
been,
you a contract.
slowly
before you
ongoing.
get the permit, is for sure.
Yes, you just have to say that you're signed up with Republic, we can verify that you're signed with Republic, and you can have your permit. Just, I don't have to, pay all your fees, I'm not
Are we
gonna give you
holding
what
on
you need
that
to, we can, because we, it's part of the, if we make that a requirement, that's what we're doing.
Excuse me, don't you actually bill on your invoice for the fee?
Not
Okay,
really,
the-
it's not
the
almost like that.
roll-offs are
No,
done.
not roll-off, but all your residential people, are they getting the trash bill with the regular bill?
Yes,
Yes, it's
these
all-
are for like builders, like you have a home builder come in and just bring a,
99.9% is all commercial and building, it's not, the people.
it's not your regular everyday people.
The other thing in reference to the city dumps, you have city dump, we're working with them, getting some smaller trash containers, more of them, because people are having a hard time lifting, getting their garbage into those containers, because they're really large. So we're hoping to have smaller ones, and maybe even have a trial, a free trial of a trash compactor, so that we can compact it and do it, and we have that city dump on Saturday. And we're hoping to change just the size of the dumpsters, a little bit more, smaller ones, the same amount, but we compact and we can have more garbage in there, because people seem to use that. A lot of people use it for, their very large construction projects, remodeling, that kind of, reading warrior kind of projects.
We have a long laundry list of things that need to be done. A lot of them are administrative. Do you see that any of these are a big challenge that we won't be able to accomplish, or do you have any idea of how many of these things will be accomplished in the next year or the next 2 years, or given the budget that we have and the insolvency plan, do you have thoughts about that?
I do. I think definitely you need the 5-year plan is definitely something that we can start looking at, building these things. Priority is going to be important. Laura and I have spoken. We're thinking somewhere between, it's going to take 3 to 5 years to right size the ship. And we're hoping that we get a lot of these things done and they'll start correcting themselves, so we don't have to spend as much time with them as we need to. Hopefully the code enforcement program will start working, and then I'll have to revisit that anymore other than, reporting part. So some of the things are really easy to accomplish, zoning and accepting ordinances and enforcement are one. But long term, the streets program is a very long program. I know that the water treatment plant is a very long program. Even the annexation can be anywhere between 3 to 5 years. So, with the priority, as you put priority projects together, as you look at your project, I can let you know which ones I think we can accomplish in a year, but I would say between most things, between 18 to 24 months, and the one doesn't take 5. Streets may take us up to 10 years, I don't know.
Because it appears that we don't accomplish, we don't build anything. We've been churning paper for about a year now. And so it appears that way, that we have, as a city, have not really accomplished anything other than do administrative work and shuffle paper and fix things that need to be fixed and, on paper. So
I can't speak to that, but I can say that, I can tell that this budget process, you all did some heavy lifting and gave a really good framework for going forward. The insolvency plan is really going to help me out going forward in reference to do things. We want you to be able to visually see some things and see some improvement rather than just paper. So we want you to be able to have a code enforcement program, but then you can see citizens come and say, thank you, we don't have any problems. Or you can see it starting to look and have a better appearance. But I'm hoping that you can see more action rather than just paper. That's what I'm hoping we can do. I met a gentleman that took down all the flags. They're going to be replacing the flags. They volunteered to be able to do that. I'll be sending out an email and let you know that they have decided, that Jose decided to maintain all those flags. The American Legion is going to be post their gate. It's going to be maintaining all those flags so that we can have an appearance. We're going to start power washing down City Hall. There's snakes up in those gutters, there's bird poop on the front, we want to make it, something simple, just power wash the sidewalk in front of City Hall.
Yeah, it's been there.
There's fake
Yeah.
snakes up there.
Oh, fake snakes.
Yeah, they're plastic snakes up in the
Oh.
rafters. They're supposed to scare the
They're
birds
big
away,
ones.
but
Oh, they keep
Yes,
the birds
that's what
from
the
building
snakes
their
are.
nests.
and they will be there. No, they will be there first thing in the morning to power wash the sidewalk. I constantly
They're
ask.
pooping in the front, and then some of the lights are out, and then, so we have a, you're right, we have
Clean
a
up.
lot of work, and there's some challenges to do, and I'm hoping that we can move forward and to do those things. But some of the hard, heavy lifting is going to be for the next 3 years, getting for power. And thank you for letting me know that was fake snake, because I'm.
Yeah. We did, however, last week or week before, may have been week before that, we did find a coach whip on the side of the building. So there really was a fake snake, I mean, a real snake then, but the fake snakes have been up there, they're supposed to keep the birds away, but they're no longer scared of
And
the
then we
snakes,
had,
so.
then we had some bugs in the bushes in the building next door.
We did.
and Take out the bushes.
That's fuzzy
because
house.
They were biting people, so we have a lot of, just fine tuning, but as I mentioned, you all have a lot of gems and jewels right here in this local town, from your golf course to your open fields to your economic development. The mayor can tell you, she could call probably every other day, people want to come to Floresville. They want to relocate here. Some of the price of land we have, some of the actual price of land we're in some for, but they want to come to Floresville, because this is a place to be, not Carnes, so they want to be here. So, live. Huh? They want to live. So we want to be able to take advantage of that, but I'm hoping that we can do that, and I hear and I appreciate your comment, as well as the councilman's comments, relative to staff and getting a, I'll make a conscious decision on that, and I'll do that.
Okay. And we're gonna go on to 3, executive session, adjourning to executive session pursuant to section 551.074, the Texas Government Code, personnel matters to deliberate the appointment and manager's preliminary recommendations for goals and objectives of performance for the manager's contract, city manager. Can I have a motion to enter into executive session, please?
I'll make a motion to move into executive session.
Second. I have a motion by Councilman Rodriguez, second by Councilman Steele. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Time is 7:18.